Excellencies, distinguished guests, this evening comes after many months of asking ourselves, how does one give justice to this 20-year-long journey in just one evening? And to you, Madam, thank you for the faith you have placed in us. Thank you for holding us accountable, for we have been given a great platform to impact sustainable change around us. We hope to see you make new friends tonight and rejoice with us as we take an optimistic look to the future and continue to be even more intentional in planning the next 20 and more years of the Imbuto Foundation, breaking new grounds. I wish you all a wonderful evening as we celebrate our 20th anniversary, and thank you for your kind attention.
Your Excellency and my dear sister, Mrs. Janet Kagame, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, thank you so much for having me. When I saw this performance, I think I found the secret source, the fountain of youth. I think it's the courage, it's the love, it's the hope, it's the confidence. It's the dignity, it's the values of the Imbuto Foundation that are personified in the person of Mrs. Kagame, who's a dear friend. She's a mentor, she's a mother, she's a sister. It just depends on the day and what she has to do. So many of us look up to her. So she's not, please don't own her as a Rwandan leader. She belongs to all of us as a leader on the continent and as a leader in the world. And I'm sure many people were as shocked as I was when I first met the team at the Imbuto Foundation. I was expecting to see 100 to 150 people given these programs that are run. And when I saw the small staff complement, I was shocked at how effective and consequential their programs have been. So congratulations, not only to the First Lady, but also to her team.
Your Excellency, it's an honor and privilege to be part of this important day celebrating the 20th anniversary of Imbuto Foundation. Allow me also to express my deepest appreciation on behalf of the youth of Rwanda. On behalf of the Ministry of Youth and Culture, as well as Imbuto Foundation partners, I would like to thank you most profoundly, Your Excellency, for the vision that has empowered millions of children, youth, women, widows, widowers, orphans, and all the vulnerable people within our community. 20 years of Imbuto Foundation is growth, is fruits, is resilience, is service, is purpose, is transformation, dignity, as the theme says, and a defying and empowering future. Much has been said. I thank you very much for your time, for the enthusiasm and the passion for the young people, and also for being with us in this critical time. While we struggle with the pandemic, we don't take this for granted, Your Excellency. Instead, it pushes us to work so much more. I thank you very much for your support, the young people, and I thank you very much for the vision that we carry. Thank you.
My dear sister, Monica Gangos, thank you for making it to this memorable time for our foundation. It's been a long time. And thank you to proving to these people that spouses of president can also have talents. We can reconvert ourselves. We are not, as you could see, I think she was inspired by the play that the Arborescence, and don't be surprised if next time we decide to, herself and I, come up with another play among ourselves. Your Excellency, Mrs. Roman Tesfaye, former First Lady of Ethiopia, Excellencies, Ambassadors, Honorable Ministers, esteemed partners and friends of Imbuto, distinguished guests, and Sirwa Youth Connect champion nominees, valued members of staff of Imbuto Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's such a joy to be here tonight, celebrating 20 years of service to Rwandan communities. It looked like everything good happened in 2001, as Fode said. 2 decades of progress in youth empowerment, education, and health certainly call for festivity. The journey was not always sunny. In fact, it began amidst a storm. And yet, we are here today with the sun back in our hearts, as a light within that will keep guiding us along the way ahead. When I think of Imbuto in earlier PACFA coming to life, I see the fulfilling of a moral obligation. It seemed a revolutionary notion amidst all the disease and vulnerability that 1994 had amplified. That premature, preventable death should no longer be a constant shadow, following mothers on their way to work, welcoming children as they are born, seemed unattainable with our financial means of the time. Untreated HIV had decimated entire families. There is no silver lining to disease. There is no upside to death or to suffering. But in the pursuit of eradicating the cause of the ache, a robber of joy, dignity, and independence, a path may appear. Distinguished guests, what we are celebrating here today is not a feat of charity, but rather the fulfilling of a duty. The mission that drove Imbuto from the very beginning and birthed PACFA 20 years ago was not glory, it was responsibility. Half a decade after the genocide, the soil of the rich land all Rwandans could finally claim was ripe for fertilizing. The first seed to be planted needed to show precedence. It had to become a robust, deeply rooted tree that would bear fruits so long as the people needed to eat from it. For this, there was no roadmap. And by my side was simply women. Women whose determination I could hardly quantify in a speech twice as long. For these women would not count the hours nor spare the efforts, and the seed was laid in our hands. Today, we celebrate these women. Excellencies, partners, and friends, as you know, the protection and the care of family against HIV and AIDS, PACFA, combated the idea that financial means should define access to treatment against the disease. And the quest behind this initiative was a pursuit and a reclaiming of the humanity that so much conflict and loss had attempted to rob from us. Science has shown that an HIV-positive life in dignity, as we witnessed with SAGE, as a productive and autonomous member of society was perfectly attainable. Ladies and gentlemen, the family package, our first project, saw the light in 2001 in Kakiru, not far from here. Challenging as its implementation seemed, it was merely an inspiration to the many diverse initiatives that have since stemmed from Imbuto. The vision behind our shift from PACFA to Imbuto was simple: a harmonious model that can cater to the different stages of the life cycle. Our DNA is our ability to reinvent ourselves and adapt to an ever-changing landscape, but our soul remains intact. Imbuto strives to engage, educate, and empower our communities. Esteemed guests, 20 is quite the milestone, even to those of us that have had many more birthdays, probably 3 times this one. And I thank my sister Monica, who thinks that years have not changed me. For our youth, it's fresh adulthood. For the progress of developing nations, it's a lifetime. And for Imbuto, it has been a voyage of much greater numbers. The 5,000 best performing teenage girls rewarded and mentored over the past decade and a half are now valued contributors to our society, and some have become part of our backbone, working for the Imbuto mission as full-time staff members. Over 60,000 children aged 6 and younger have been enrolled into model and home-based ECD and family centers. Dozens of youth forum series have housed crucial conversations among thousands of future trailblazers. Distinguished guests, tonight in partnership with the Ministry of Youth and Culture, we are also recognizing the accomplishments of a new cohort of Sirwa and Youth Connect awardees who joined the ranks of other inherent go-getters. Looking at the mountains our beneficiaries have moved thus far with your help, reversing trends of poverty and lack of education to become accomplished militant professionals that enhance many Rwandan industries, I see no limit to their potential. But to allow this potential to bloom in the decades coming, your help is needed. So ladies and gentlemen, I request this of you tonight. In all the humbleness that being blessed with this successful journey has granted me, keep believing in us, invest in us, partner with us, return to us with the knowledge you have acquired along your academic adventures and social discoveries. Water our garden, and it will remain a haven for Rwandan communities for as long as God allows it. I welcome the UN family to garden our foundation as well. Words might not do justice to my elation in celebrating these 20 years with you, but I will try. This verse by the late Maya Angelou. We need joy as we need air. We need love as we need water. We need each other as we need the earth we share. Esteemed guests, I invite you to share my joy tonight. Let's celebrate tonight.